Hi, everyone. This is Nita Ewald. I'm a functional health coach focusing on women's health and fertility. So I am so excited today to bring someone that you also want to know. So her name is Jenna Hua, and I'm gonna let her to introduce herself and talk about what she can help you on your fertility journey. When I learned about her, I just knew right away I have to interview Gina and introduce her to the people on my list. So, hi Gina, how are you?
Thank you so much, Nita, for having me. I'm very excited. And I guess for audience who can't see us, so we're actually matching, wearing matching shirts, coincidentally. So it's a good sign. Thank you so
It
much
is.
for having me.
It is. It is. Oh, so Gina, why don't we start by you telling us about yourself and your background training, because you have very impressive impressive trainings.
I did a lot of school, that's for sure. Hi everyone. I'm the founder and CEO of a health tech startup called Million Marker. I was trained as a registered dietitian. I was very frustrated with my experience as a registered dietitian because I only had 15 minutes usually to consult patient. I would have to chart for an hour. And I felt I'm not changing my patient's life, not really helping them improve their nutrition. That's why I decided to go back to school to study environmental health. I felt at the time, if I can actually change the environment, then I don't have to tell people what to do. So that's what I studied during graduate school. My research mainly focusing on how to use different digital technology tools to help people assess their environmental exposures. Because your environmental exposure actually accounts for more than 70% of your chronic disease risk versus the 30% biogenetics. And we don't really have a good way for people to understand where their exposures are coming from, what they're being exposed to, and what to do about it. So that's what I focused on during graduate school. Then I went on, did a postdoc at Stanford, mainly focusing on how do we facilitate behavior change? If we know people have these exposure, we know people are having bad lifestyle, how do we make them change it? So that's what I did for my postdoc. After my postdoc, I was very frustrated by being an academic because I figured nobody's reading my paper. I'm not really making changes in people's life. I should really do something different. That's why I started at Million Marker. The goal for Million Marker is being able to provide tools for people to understand their exposure comprehensively and also take actionable steps and really taking disease prevention into our own hands. So then, we can have a better quality of life and we can have better health and we can have better health outcome.
Awesome. Million mark. Why Million Marker?
It's kind of a mouthful, but once I explain, I think people will get it. The goal for Million Marker that's kind of related to our vision is one day we're hoping to be able to discover over 1 million biomarkers to help people inform their health, so they can again take actions, because if you know better, you do better. So if we can measure and reveal what's inside of your body, then you can do something about it. So hopefully we get to that 1 million biomarker, although right now we're starting with 13. Hopefully we can get to that 1 million one day.
Okay, wonderful. So my audience here know that I've been emphasizing on the importance of eliminating or reducing the exposure to environmental toxins. You mentioned 13 markers right now that you have, and can you tell us a bit about the scientific background and the connection to fertility? And I'm passionate about the health of the future baby, because we as you probably are aware of the study that was done by the environmental working group back in the 2005, right? That there's almost 300 chemicals that was found in the umbilical cord. So that's before the baby is even born. So that's the exposure through the parents, just in the case through the mother, and it has a big impact on the health. So if you can elaborate more about the scientific background of this chemical, yeah.
Yeah, this is a super loaded question. Just to lay of land, we actually have over 85,000 chemicals in use today, and we only less than 1% we have sufficient safety data. So a lot of chemicals that you use in product, you're talking about your personal care product, your household product, many things, your food additives, we don't really know what are the health impact. A lot of these chemicals are not safe, but we don't actually know. For what we know, there are over thousands of them are also hormone disrupting chemicals. So when we talk about hormone disrupting chemical, if you think about hormone, your endocrine system, your hormones are really important. They literally regulate every single bodily function you have, from your metabolism to sleep, to mood, to stress, to growth. Everything is regulated by hormone, and hormone works in super tiny amount. When you measure your glucose, it's usually in deciliters. It's the magnitude is way larger than when you're measuring your hormone, which is in nanogram, which is like over 10,000 times smaller. So think about one drop of water in 25 size Olympic swimming pool. That's how much you require for hormone to cause any impact. So you never ever want to mess with your hormone. When these foreign chemicals come in, these hormone disruptor comes in, they pretty much mess with your hormones. And then you can think about it, if you know your hormone regulates every bodily function you have, that means when these chemical comes in, it's just going to mess with your other functions. You might not feel it the next day, but you just don't know down the road what kind of impact it could cause. And we already have over decades, literally 3-4 decades of study demonstrating that higher exposure to these chemicals are linked to many health outcomes. So fertility is one, but there's also breast cancer, testicular cancer, diabetes, obesity. All of them are have been linked to these exposure to these chemicals. And then when you're talking about children's development, these chemicals have also been linked to ADHD and autism, and even increase in allergy. There's a recent article demonstrating exposure to these chemicals are also linked to children's IQ as well as language delay. So you name it. And what we also found out is for the longest time, we thought these chemicals are not going to cross your placental barrier. And it turns out we were wrong. And mother's exposure, and even before you get pregnant, your egg quality, your sperm quality are also impacted by these chemicals. And once you're exposed during pregnancy, it will pass to your kids. It will actually pass to your grandkids. So your grandparents' exposure would actually show up in your body. So this is how much impact these chemicals can have on us. And that's why we really want to make people to be aware of these chemicals and then take action to reduce your exposure. And many of these chemicals are also used in plastic. So, by taking action, you're not only optimizing your health, making sure your children have a better health, you're also making sure creating a more sustainable environment, because the moment you use better product, you pay attention on reducing your exposure, you're actually bettering the environment.
Agree. So it's really important, not just from the perspective of fertility. So I don't want, it's good people with fertility, you know, usually have other, you know, health issue. But what I'm trying to say here, even if you're not struggling for fertility, or even you trying to get pregnant through, you know, IVF or other technology, think about the quality of the sperm, the quality of the egg. So these environmental toxin affect the quality, and this, yes, the quality will affect the health of their future baby, not only when they're first born, for the lifetime of the baby. So that's what I'm passionate about this work, because gosh, there's so many children are, you know, they suffer from like different kind of allergy, even like cancer, right? So if we can just take the responsibility, don't wait until we are told that we can get pregnant, or, you know, we there's unexplained infertility, or so, you know, don't wait to that point. We know, hey, a year from now, are we going to you know, start to try to have a baby, the conception process. Be proactive, proactive, like a year ahead of time, to start thinking about all of this. So that's what I'm sharing all this information, you know, because Jenna has a lot of resources and surface that that can definitely help my audience to, like you said, Jenna, take action steps. Don't wait, you know, don't wait until, hey, yes, we're told that we can't get pregnant. No, you know, start way earlier. We know we're gonna try to have a baby. Start there. You get rid of the this toxic chemical, again, and try your best to have the, you know, just minimize the exposure. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And we also think this should be, you know, as you mentioned, it should be a life course approach. Like you should be practicing these lifestyle detoxing, using better product actually throughout your life course, because it's not just when you're trying to get pregnant impact. Yes, it definitely impact fertility. We have seen that people with higher exposure, they have a higher chance of having a miscarriage. They have harder time managing their PCOS symptom. There's more IVF failure. There's like a lower sperm quality, lower egg quality, and many of these things. But it's also, you know, because the younger you get exposed to, the potential detrimental impact it could have. So we think, you know, by intervening early, start from the egg, start from the sperm, it really benefit a long term. And then we also think that, you know, this is actually where you get the biggest bang for your investment. That, you know, if you think about it, if you change, you're detoxing, you're changing your lifestyle during conception, not only you're creating a good environment for your own body, you're creating a good environment for your kid. And then think about it, that if you already practicing these healthy lifestyle, you continue on practicing these lifestyle, your kids will have lower exposure, they will live a better life, right? So it's like a continuing on. And this is also very important because these are hormone disruptors. Think about when your hormone changes, right? It's a during when you're pregnant, before conception, but also think about if your kid is in adolescence, growing, fast growing kids, adolescents, and think about menopause. These time when you actually have these hormone shifts, these chemicals are very, very important to eliminate, because you definitely don't want them to mess with your hormones.
Yeah. That's a good point there. So back to the you said 13 markers, yeah, that you measure now. Can you can you explain on how it works if someone's interested in? Oh, we having a storm here, so you can see the light just keep on and on and on and off. So hopefully it stays on. Yeah. So can you tell us how it works if someone is interested to get tested, and you know how the process is
Yes.
going?
So we're offering a direct-to-consumer mailing urine test. So people can order a test kit online, and we will send you a kit. You pee in a cup. We do ask you to complete an exposure journal because this allow us to personally tailor the feedback we'll give you, which we will do a comprehensive lifestyle audit, including your diet, the product you use in your kitchen, you use in your bedroom, in your use as personal care product. We do a comprehensive audit. We get your sample analyzed. We let you know what your levels, how you compare with our existing users, and how you compare with the national average. Are you high, medium, or low? And exactly what you can do to reduce these exposures. So we will audit not only the chemicals that we test, but any other problematic ingredients that shows up in your personal care product or household product or any lifestyle behavior, even not related to the chemical that we test. Anything related to potential harmful environmental exposure, we will let you know. So then you can practice, you can follow the actionable step that's tailored to you. And to make these changes, then you can, come back, get checked again, or just continue practicing these lifestyle. Currently, we test for, as I mentioned, 13 chemical metabolites that includes BPA, BPA alternatives like BPS, BPF, phthalates, parabens, as well as oxybenzone. So these are the categories we test. And then we test both high molecular weight phthalate as well as low molecular weight phthalate for the parabens. So it's a pretty comprehensive panel because these chemicals are the major suspect in everyday products. So if you understand where your exposures are coming from, then you can better understand where you can reduce these exposures.
Okay, wonderful. So you mentioned the phthalate. There's two, you said two different kind of tests.
They're all in one panel, but we test both the two different categories of phthalates because so low molecular weight phthalate usually appears in personal care product. So anytime obviously you see a fragrance on your ingredient label, that's almost a code for low molecular weight phthalates. And high molecular weight phthalates are usually used as plastic additives. So if you eat out a lot, you would usually have high phthalates, high molecular weight phthalates exposure. Sometimes if you have bought a new car, oftentimes you would also have a high phthalate exposure. That would be the case. So with high molecular weight phthalate, we really want people to reduce plastic use.
Yeah, that smell, the new car smell, right? That's okay. That's the high molecular phthalates. Okay. Those are 13. The paraben, you mentioned oxybenzone, so that is in sun lotion,
yes.
right?
Yeah, oxybenzone is used as a chemical UV blocker. Oxybenzone is not only toxic, like hormone disrupting to humans, it's actually also very toxic to aquatic life. Hawaii, I think it's already banned oxybenzone to be used because it's killing the coral reef. So anytime like anything that's bad for the environment, like killing coral reef or killing aquatic life, that can't be good for humans.
Wow. So we not just only save ourselves, to be healthy, our future generations also, the aquatic life. Yeah, I mean we get to preserve our environment, right? So, but this industrial, like you mentioned, 85,000. That's just crazy. So I am going to include the sample report. So for the convenience of the people to look at it, and tell us how can my audience find you and your service.
Yeah, people can find us online. It's www.millionmarker.com. And we have a lot of material on our website because educating people about these chemicals and educating people about their environmental exposures is also a mission for the company. So we have a ton of education material. We have a whole hub built around fertility and pregnancy because we also see there's a huge gap in terms of science translation. You know, scientists have been doing this work for decades, but the public doesn't know. And we want to make sure that these information actually get out of there. And we make sure that all our content is easy to read and easy to understand. So people can check out that hub. We have more than 80 articles around pregnancy and fertility and around the environment. Check that out. We also put together approved product list, so you don't have to do the homework finding out what product is actually safe. We have that list that ranging from lotions, shampoo to kitchenware, sunblock, even water filter. So check out that list. We're also very active on social, again, for education purposes. We're active on Instagram and we're active on Twitter. So follow us and send us your questions. We also have a newsletter if you're interested in the latest news on what we're up to and also the latest scientific research on these chemicals. We also send those information out in our newsletter. So feel free to sign up. And we're always happy to answer any questions. So feel free to submit a question anytime you have through our website and I will get your questions answered.
Wow, I did check out the approved product list that you mentioned. Well, my audience definitely have to go there and check out check them out themselves, because it's such a comprehensive list of different type of products, like you mentioned, personal care product, home cleaning supplies, food storage, even water filters, and you just have to click and then it link it to the product itself. I go there and just like, wow, this is such a good resource. And like you already said, you have a lot of article written in there for that related to fertility and pregnancy. Such a like a must resource to have, especially for people thinking about having family. Be proactive. Don't wait until you told that you have issue with fertility, but think of the future health of the baby for the lifetime of the the baby. So well, I can't thank you enough for you to squeeze this time in your busy time. Busy life, because you run podcasts, right?
We did have a podcast before, but it was a lot of resources have to put in podcasts, so we decided we'll just do more Instagram instead. So we do more Instagram live, but I still join a lot of podcasts to get the message out that why people need to care about these exposures. You don't even have to buy a test, but you should care about these exposures.
Definitely. Yeah, so check out millionmarker.com, and then on Instagram's also millionmarker, and then on Twitter. So well, Jenna, thank you so much for your time, and so I'm so excited to share this with my followers and also with many others.
Thank you so much, Nita, for having me.
Okay, bye now.
Okay,
bye
bye
everyone.